You're listening to the Hair Radio Morning Show. I'm Carrie Hines.
Hello, I'm Carrie Hines, and I'd like to welcome you to our official Hair Radio social network channel that's all about advertising opportunities with us at Hair Radio. We'll be featuring commercials that are currently running on our live Hair Radio morning show, to some that can only be heard when you listen to our archive shows. We thought we'd dust those off and share them with you too. Now, advertising on Hair Radio means that you are a big part of our family. We have introductory specials for just $99 per month, and no big commitments are necessary. And you can record your own commercial right here for free on the Hair Radio social network. Take a look at the gold taskbar that's located at the top of our Hair Radio social networking site. I say, click on that and record your own commercial. First, take a listen to some of these that are playing right here on this channel. Then jump on in, record your commercial, and it'll automatically be sent to us at Hair Radio. Now, if you have any questions, call us on our toll-free number. It's 1-800-379-0748. Again, that's 1-800-379-0748. Thank you for advertising with us, and I'll be checking in with you with many more ideas along the way. It is because of you that we grow together. Thank you.
Michelle Floyd from Beautiful Hair Products, where we provide educational information, recommended books, tutorials, wigs, and natural hair products that promote healthy scalp and beautiful hair. We're shouting out to Carrie Hines and the Hair Radio Morning Show. Visit us at www.beautifulhairproducts.com and through the Hair Radio Show.
All right, you're listening to the all-new Hair Radio Morning Show. I'm Carrie Hines, and this is the Thursday edition of Shop Talk. Today is Thursday, May 3rd, 2018, and my very special co-host, Nancy DeShomaz, who is the natural hair expert, I should say, from Queens, New York. Good morning, Nancy, my fellow New Yorker. Good morning to you.
Good morning. How
are you?
All
right. Yes, it is a good morning. And welcome to all of our amazing Hair Radio Show listeners, of course, and to the members of the Hair Radio Social Network as we broadcast on this Thursday. So we have to remind everybody that this is a daily broadcast. This is not something that's farmed in and recorded, weeks in advance. We are live at this moment, and we are talking to you guys out there across the network. So the weather today, again, it's May. Nancy, are you happy? Am I happy? Are you guys out there happy? Are you happy with today's weather in New York City?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, finally, right? We are thrilled.
No, wake up at 72 degrees? Yes, it's about time.
Yes, that's just a dream, literally. It's been remarkable. I was walking my dog out there, you guys out there, no Peppy, and and it was just lovely. I just wished I could bottle every day like today. And that's what Los Angeles reminds me of. Shout out to our listeners out in California. You guys out there, you get to have this every day. I remember. Can you imagine that, Nancy? Every day you wake up to weather like this, and it rarely rains. Just every day is sunny, almost every day.
Wow.
It was, and this temperature, it got a little bit cooler than this, but that was it. Mm-hmm. And I mean, California has amazing weather. New York's weather is amazing too if you enjoy 4 different seasons, and that's not a problem. But The issue to me is when it skips over those seasons. It's not the problem. It's not the 4 seasons. It's the skipping of the seasons. Well, listen, anyway, we've got a dynamic show for you today in our Shop Talk edition. As you guys know, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we record these amazing shows that talk about what's happening in the world as we see it, as well as, bringing everyone up to date on hair industry items. And it's just, I love Shop Talk because it's such a variety of news events and hair information and what's happening in the world. It's a microcosm, and we cover it right here for the members of the social networking site. Now, before we get into the nitty-gritty, I also want to take a quick moment to make some very fast announcements, Nancy. Now, coming up on Monday night, now this is on May 21st. I do want to say this, Monday, May 21st at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. So this is live. We're doing a free live webinar. And on this webinar, folks have asked me, what is it containing or what is it pertinent to? It's about social media and the hair industry. So you're going to hear it firsthand, all about the hair business and social media from us live. This is not some farmed-in webinar type thing. So please register if you wish to be part of it. Now, in order to register, you need to go to the gold menu bar at the top of the Hair Radio Social Networking site and click on free webinar register or registration. So it's very simple there. Just go click on it and sign up so we know that you will be taking part. Otherwise, if we don't see you taking part, we're not going to plan for your participation. And if you are planning to participate, please be informed that you cannot do so over a cell phone. If you're planning to participate in the upcoming webinar on social media with Hair Radio, it's free to participate, no cost involved. But do understand you need to use a laptop or a tablet or a desktop computer, anything like that, but just not a cell phone, because we're going to be sharing the screen of the presenter, and, it's very important that you have the tools that'll aid with the learning process. So we're real excited about that. So that's coming up on Monday night, our first at night, 8 p.m. So we're real excited about that. Just make sure to go to the top of the site and sign up. And if you are not a member, you need to be a member of the Hair Radio social networking site. Go to hairradio.com, HAIRADIO.com. Okay. Nancy, just want to also shout out to our amazing show sponsors, and we'll talk about them, the folks at hairbed.com. Hairbed, which you guys know, Hairbed has been just fantastic. Catherine Rondabella is the creator of the Hairbed products, and just shouting out to her in Australia. Hi, Catherine. You guys out there, we have listeners in Australia, so we want to shout them out as well. The folks at PDCVE Beauty, Renee, BeautifulHairProducts.com, who's also a channel host, product channel host right here on the Hair Radio Social Networking site and our channels. She's one of the channel's hosts. So we've got a lot of things going on. And then I've got some news for you about Hair Nation Expo. Nancy, you don't know what I'm about to announce. So we've got some news for you coming up. But Nancy, first I want to turn to some of the updates that we've been talking about here on Shop Talk over the last few days. First of all, I've got to say, I had no idea, Nancy, that this was going to be such an explosive topic that we introduced on yesterday's broadcast. It's with regards to, and this is for a lot of the guys out there, and I don't know if the ladies were very familiar with this this product. I really have to say I don't know. But it is a very important topic to have. There have been reports that this particular brand, which is largely used by the African American guys, it's a product that is created and designed for use, and it's a tricky thing about men and beauty, especially in our community. But the Just for Men product, in recent times, now the product has been around since the late 80s, but it's been recently reported that there have been all kinds of burns and itching and scratching and swelling and, I mean, just about everything that you can imagine, and has caused permanent issue, type of damage to some folks, as has been reported. A lot of folks who have been out there who've used the product, like me, I'm raising my hand for you guys out there, have just set it aside. And I, myself, I refuse to use the product, especially on a regular basis, because there's heck to pay for it. Trust me on that. What is amazing, Nancy, is that I did not know that there were so many other folks out there suffering. That's the problem with these products. And I love what you said yesterday, and it stays in my head with me, about that when companies change the formulas. And I did not know that this was something that the hair companies do all the time. And the stylists, you guys are aware of these folks doing that with these products. I was shocked that you opened up that can of worms. So does that happen regularly? Like what?
Yes. Well, being that you have so many, I have so many years in the industry, you realize, because when you start using a product and it's not doing what it used to do, or you're getting a lot of feedback, there's irritation and stuff, you start looking at the product like, well, we've been using this for 10 years, so what happened? So they changed the recipe. They added something in there. Either they're cutting corners or trying to new and improve it, and you don't know until afterwards. And I've had a couple of products that I had to use and I had to pull back from because I said, no, we're getting too much. There was too much stuff going on. I said,
Don't you feel, I have to be honest with you. This is the first time I've ever experienced anything like this. Because, and I remember, and the thing is, Carrie Hines, the host of the Hair Radio Morning Show, I have literally experienced this firsthand. And I was introduced to the product not back in the 80s, even though I was aware of it. I guess I didn't need it then. Really great. But as I got a little older, and I was pointing out yesterday that one of my coworkers, my former coworkers at the time, he was like nudging me, like, you know what, you need to use some Just for Men. Because my gray hair had popped out, and I was just wearing it, looking like, much older. But I loved it. I like natural stuff. So if you're older, you just need to look what you are. That's fine with me. But anyway, I tried it. And at the time, I used it, and there was no problem. I didn't have any kind of reaction to it whatsoever. So I just went about using it. In recent times, I noticed, I'll tell you exactly when. Like, again, I was not a regular user of it. So I can't say that I'm like a lot of these folks who, no matter what, they were using it regularly. I would just, on occasion, if I had to do something special and wanted to have a colored hair or whatever. But generally, I just went, had my regular hair. But what is amazing to me, I remember the first time that I experienced a reaction that I was aware of. And I just thought of it this moment, and I remember I was planning the very first Hair Nation Expo, and that, I'm going to tell you, was about 2 years ago. Maybe 2.5 years ago. I was on my way coming back from Harlem, where I think I had gone to get my hair cornrowed or something. It was not twisted or anything like that. It was being cornrowed. And I remember that's when I noticed severe reaction to it. And exactly what everybody describes is exactly what I described as well. I had no idea. But I thought it was just me. And I thought that, again, I thought I applied it incorrectly because I'm not a hairstylist. I thought all these you think of every other excuse or explanation. You never think that something is different about the product. You may think that as a professional, but for those of us who are not, we're just like,
With men, yeah. But with men, it's different because y'all really don't talk much. Females, it's gonna be the talk of the salon. Like, did y'all try this product? I tried it. And
that's Nancy. Wow.
Yes.
You're right. And look how long it's taken, almost 3 years, and I just stumbled across this whole issue.
Right.
And 3 years, and I've never mentioned it to a soul. On top of that, so now to be sharing my gray cover-up with the world through the Hair Radio morning show and Shop Talk is interesting. But and then you bring up a good point. I'm a typical guy, so I know that we don't talk about this.
No. You
and
don't talk about it.
Even the fact that we're talking about it this morning, you're not going to have a lot of guys who will even publicly acknowledge this. So
exactly.
And that's what's very interesting now. They are really we call it going in, they are really talking about this across the internet. Nancy, when I got on, I was like in shock to hear some of these reviews. Now, these are not just some random websites. This is the ConsumerAffairs.com.
Yeah.
Bigger than the Consumer Affairs. And the Consumer Affairs, there's one gentleman who posted a review. He said, I've been using Just for Men Blackbeard dye every week for around 7 years without issue. It's almost like my story. I bought my last box on Amazon in March, and within days of using it, my beard and face became extremely itchy, and my lips became very sore and completely scabbed over.
Wow.
So bad were my lips that I had to visit the doctors for antibiotic cream and to cause much embarrassment as I work in a client-facing role. Every night I struggle to sleep due to extreme itching. I've only just put 2 and 2 together and realized all these symptoms started just after my last purchase of Just for Men. I've also noticed that I experience a burning sensation when applying to my skin that I never did before. This gentleman writes, throwing this box away right now. Just for Men need to come clean if the formula has changed. Is that not just the most awful thing? And I completely, unequivocally repeat exactly verbatim what this gentleman, I experienced exactly the same thing, and I took the same action essentially. But see, I didn't take it immediately because, again, I said, well, maybe I colored it too hard or left it on too long. I just didn't know what to say.
Right.
And Nancy, let's say you do throw it away. As a guy, we don't, in our community, in the African American community, we may not know that there are other options out there, but we feel like there isn't because for some reason and I can certainly speak for myself, I didn't feel that the Just for Men product was embarrassing to buy. You were kind of proud to go and get that product because it was created just for men of color. Mm-hmm. So I don't know what to think. And as you pointed out, Nancy, a lot of the women have more experience with this. What do you say?
Yes, a lot of women have more experience. And like I said, when something goes wrong, that's the talk of the shop. They're like, did anybody try this? This is what happened to me. Or I could get a phone call like, I tried this color and I don't know what happened. I need you to look at my scalp. I'm about to go to the doctor. We are more open with this stuff.
Why would companies not want to share that they've changed the formula? I don't understand that. Why would you not want people to know?
Because you don't know what the outcome is, really. some of these products, they don't test it. They just put it out, or they test it on animals, so they think it's fine.
Is it, but to keep it a secret that you've changed it?
Yeah.
Like, I just don't know whose bright idea would be like, you know what, let's take this out, put in that, and let's not tell anybody.
But I think now they have changed it because on the labels now it says new and improved. So now you know that they've been changing with the formula. But before they never used to have new and improved or anything on there.
Right. There was not any new and improved when you were experiencing the issue. Now,
right.
I think what they've done was they changed it, then attempted to change it back and call it new and improved.
Yeah.
Nancy, that's what I feel. I feel because it was really causing big problems. Now, it was fine at first. They tinkered with it for whatever reason. We don't know. This is, again, my book. Then they changed it. They didn't put any labeling on or any information that it was updated. And then when they probably were aware of the complaints, then they say, oh, now it's new and improved. But they tinkered with it again so that it would not be as damaging or inflammatory as the first change created. So I just think, and again, this wasn't in their initial product. So they're doing something differently than they did, and we don't know what that is. And again, as you pointed out, they may say new and improved now, but I think it's like once the farm door, it's been open and the cows and the horses are out, the barn door, I guess is what they say. It's hard to get them back in. So, do you guys trust those products anymore after they've changed? What have you guys done on for the ladies out there who are in the hair business? And have you been do you trust them again, or it makes it real difficult to trust them again?
I really don't use them no more. You try to, I don't use them. There was a major problem we had with a relaxer. And I used to take, like I said, I have my my cosmetology license. I used to take classes for every product that they had. And they did something with the relaxer. It was like after 10, 12, 15 years, they did something to the relaxer, and people were coming in with irritation, hair falling out. I said, oh, no. And I said, I'm not using, I had to sit down with my clients and said, I'm not using this product no more. They did something to it, and they're not telling us what they did to it. And it's a hush-hush. Because I would tell the distributors, we want to write to the company. They're like, oh, no, they still using the same. I said, no, they're not. Something is going on. And it's like 2 years later, the same thing. It was like a lawsuit, but it was a hush-hush. And we looked it up, we Googled it, and it popped up. And I said, oh, people are talking about this.
Wow.
And it was regular people talking about how many years it was happening. It was ongoing, and they try to hush-hush it, But because of the Internet, you can see what's going on. But these companies, they try to act like nothing is going on.
I'm flabbergasted by it.
In the professional world, we use distributors. So the product is coming straight from the manufacturer, So it's not like they can say we just got it off the store shelf or anything like that. With a distributor, this is why I always say with the clients, you should always have a professional do it, because we have it straight from the distributor. So if we complain, it's a different complaint, With
it's
the
more
store,
to it as opposed to
yes.
And and they got us really good because, as you pointed out at the top of the show today, Nancy, men, we don't really, we're not about our feelings and our hair and this and that. And not to mention the fact that we don't want everybody knowing that we're coloring our hair.
Exactly. My clients, they come like the early morning when nobody's there, or they come the last client when everybody's leaving out. Nobody see them getting their hair, colored for the men.
I guess I grew differently. I'm proud to, I just don't see what's the big deal. I don't mind if people know I color my hair, or I don't mind if I don't. And I don't.
Yeah, I think it has to do with society, because society puts it on like, oh my gosh, men coloring their hair. It's society. Society doesn't welcome it really, or nobody really talks about it, so it's just swept under the rug. Nobody, yeah.
Wow. We suffer because of that. See, that's why
Right.
I believe that you have. I think we need to be more verbal. I think the guys need to talk about it, whether with one another. Hey brother, are you just for menning it up? Well, listen, you need to be aware. Hey, because I think that we got to talk more, and we have to, and I'm proud. I love not having, I love just having gray hair or whatever, regardless of what people think, that you're old or this and that and so forth. I love it. I think it's fine. It's fantastic. It's just another phase of life. And not just that, some folks, it's hereditary, so it doesn't mean you're old to begin with. And I'm just blown away by this whole topic. I really am. So I want to let folks know now, along with all of this, when, like Nancy, that you went on and you Googled it, same thing here. And when I tell you there are an enormous amount of firms that are handling this particular lawsuit, it's just amazing. There's so many firms handling. I guess there are different lawsuits being filed. And so it's just a huge thing. One of the most notable firms that we trust in our community is the Cochran firm.
Mm-hmm.
The Cochran firm gets involved.
Yeah.
That's for heavy duty folks. So you can reach out to them. There's a Just for Men hair dye lawsuit, and it says again it causes, hair dye causes allergic reactions. And the Cochran firm, you can reach them at 1-800 the firm. We don't get paid from them. This has no, we just reporting, has nothing to do with Hair Radio or hair anything. It's just important for our folks in our community to be aware of everything that we find and discover that affects the industry. I mean, this still to me is related to the industry in some big way. Again, it's the community, and we don't have a lot of options. So maybe we need to talk about what kind of options, if any, that we have. And I'm going to ask Nancy about that in just a moment. But again, I want to report the number that you can reach the Cochran firm at, again, is 1-800-843-3476. And it's 1-800-843-3476 to reach the folks and let them know that you heard about it on the Hair Radio Morning Show. That's fine. But tell them that you are commenting about this lawsuit and find out what's going on. And they are representing men and pending lawsuits. For me, I have not reached out to them yet, but I will reach out to them because I'm like the guy who threw it away. Like there was another one, another gentleman who had, who said his same type of thing, but he reported what was going on with him, and this is what he had to say, because I kind of fall in, and don't get me wrong, there are zillions of these. There are like literally about 1,000 of these things. And one guy reports testifying along with all others I've read on here who have used Just for Men for years without any problem, and then started with my last box when I purchased it a month ago. I started getting the same kind of miserable rash. Looks like I need to start searching for another brand. And that's the thing, and that's a Raymond out of Baltimore, Maryland. And these are recent notes and recent complaints. This is not, they're all dated within the last few weeks. This is not something that was like, months ago, or that exploded, no, or years ago. This is like within days of this talk. And, my thing is, what can we do? What else can we do? Hold on. This one is this is very interesting. Let me, and I apologize for that. He wrote it, but he misspelled the word pussy. Like pussy. It has.
Yes.
I don't want to say what he spelled it as.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Well, not say, but I have to read it because it is, he writes, hindsight is 2020. I went on here to research if anyone else had experienced this horrible irritation. Orange, watery, / I guess he was saying pussy
Yes.
in my skin. And was amazed the reviews of so many having the same experience. I really wish I would have done my research first before trying this atrocious product. This company should be sued out of existence for putting something this discomforting and dangerous on the market. I thought I would try to eliminate my grays before a wedding in a few days, and now I'm worried these blotches won't go away. Furthermore, I'm in sales, and this could affect my job if I don't get rid of these disgusting, leaking bumps. Horrible. Do not use. This is Scott from Lake in the Hills, Illinois. Wow. And you know what? Again, it gets no better than that. That's exactly what it is. And I'm sure he didn't mean that word. That he misspelled it. I'm sure of that. But it's a very serious thing. So what can we do? What can we do? Now listen to this. Nancy, you fall on your floor on this one. Fall right out of your chair at the salon. 1,091,510 reviews on Consumer Affairs are verified. Wow, this is amazing. So they are on top of all of these, and you can trust the reviews of Consumer Affairs. And this is for anyone to see at consumeraffairs.com. You'll find them. They got a ton of them there, and I just read a couple. And just on this phone, they're almost 1,000. So the folks are going in. So my suggestion, we'd like to stay on top of this at Hair Radio. We'd love to hear from you guys out there. Get over that. And Nancy, what do you say? Do you encourage them? Don't be so shy. Talk about it. Talk about it.
Exactly. Yes, talk about it.
And what about and the guys you mentioned who come to your shop, please, pull them aside and really to them that, or use it all.
But now we're changing with this color stuff because I had just went to a BarberCon last year.
Yeah.
And they have the barbers. The barbers are now learning how to put the colors on the mustache and doing coloring eyebrows and stuff. I was shocked. So everything is revolving. It's different now. We're having barbers that really are doing the color now, color services for men.
Yes,
so
I have. Well, you're right. I can certainly speak to that. I do know that. You're right. Some of them have been doing it for a while. And, again, we guys don't talk about it. So that's why,
Exactly. Y'all don't talk about it. I was shocked when I went there, and I'm like, oh, they're doing color? They're like, yes.
Yeah.
This is a big business.
Get the eyebrows clean. We call it.
Yes, the eyebrows.
We have all praise for making it mannish. We get them clean.
I was shocked. I said, oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
That's come a long way.
We've come a long way. And then it also has to do with what community you're in. A lot of our brothers, they've been doing the eyebrows for eons. A lot of black guys, we did not. We just kind of jumped on the bandwagon in recent times. But we were not doing it. We looked and we saw, a lot of our Latino brothers were going in and getting a whole knot. And they didn't even think twice about it. They hook them up. And they were all cleaned up and fancy looking. So we started doing it. And I've always had a Latino barber. And so I was always, I always noticed that the Latino barber cut my hair in a different style than my African American brothers. Yes, he always and this is very true. My barber is pictured. If you guys saw my daily news article, when you Google that, you'll see I was at the shop of at my barber shop, and you'll see all of my barbers in the article if you look in there closely. It is really, I always got that kind of a cut because it was a little different. You could see it. It was not the typical style that all my other brothers in our community were wearing. Not that I wasn't proud to wear it, but that's just, he was cutting it in the style he was most familiar and, doing my hair the way he knew. Right. And along with that, he started cleaning out the eyebrows, shaping the hair on the side, and this and that. Very different. And I noticed that largely, especially the teenagers and the younger folks in the community going to the barbers, have been doing it for years. It's not something that they feel even slightly uncomfortable about. But but in our community, it took a long time before it kind of caught on. And still don't want the ladies to know about that, Nancy, so please keep it a secret. Still don't want the ladies to know about it.
I'm done. Yeah.
And that's the thing. It is amazing to me where these social mores, these differences in how we look at stuff, and sometimes it can cause us damage by being quiet.
Yes.
By being quiet, because we wouldn't have said anything. I wouldn't have said anything. I didn't. A, I didn't know, and B, I would have been too ashamed to talk about it.
Right.
So this is something that I think we're doing a good service with this one, Nancy.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, I think we're doing a good service. So this is when I'm proud. I mean, I'm always proud to do the Hair Radio Morning Show with Nancy DeShome and whenever we have some of the other team members who come through our doors. But this really was surprising today. And, and we're going to continue to follow this. And, again, I'll be reaching out to them. I'm calling up the Cochrans today. So after the call, I may have another update for you tomorrow.
Okay.
By Friday. Because I will be reaching out to them, and I'll let you know what they're saying, and I'll see if we can get them on. I would love to get someone from the Cochran firm on our show.
Right.
Yeah, I think that would be really exciting. So I will be reaching out to them today, and we'll keep you informed on the next show. You'll want to tune in to find out what's going
on. Yes.
I gotta say, I'm loving it. But what I'm not loving is the fact that we don't have a bunch of other options. So the only other option I can think of is just to go to your salon stylist like Nancy and have them apply a professional coloring to your hair.
Right.
And Nancy, you guys have professional grade products.
Right. Again, and we also do a patch test before we put the color on, just in case, to make sure you're not sensitive to what we have, what products we have. So we always do a patch test.
Do the patch test. And again, I want to remind everybody, because this was something I think one of the other folks had brought up. They're like, well, yeah, but, the patch test is great, but bear in mind, the patch test you may need to wait a few days. Don't think you're going to come in, you got to go to a wedding at 5. That day, and you're trying to do it, and even if they want to do the patch test, because like these fellows said, remember I was saying it in our original show about this, I was saying that, I did not notice for several days. And that's exactly what these people reported, because it takes a few days. It's not right away. You don't know, and that's the other reason why they were able to seemingly to kind of get away with it, so to speak, for so long, because you had to figure it out.
Right.
You didn't know what was going on, and it wasn't that way. So you didn't know if it was something you ate. You didn't know what it was.
Exactly.
And that's really horrible.
It is. It's really horrible, and they should know, because they were getting well, like you said, men don't really complain like that.
No, we don't. to figure it out. And remember, again, it takes days to figure it out.
Right.
And this is not a professional product in that, it's not applied typically by the salon. So this is something that they create for home use. So therefore, it's in the privacy of your home. Nobody knows it. And you don't want people to know. You got to go sneak in the bathroom and do it.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
A horrible, messy mess.
That's why they got away with it for so long.
Yes. Isn't that something?
Mm.
I mean, what happened to the days of trusting these product companies? That's why you have to be able to go to the professionals. I love what you said at the top of this show, where you said that you guys know of these things. You have experience with them. You've seen this, and they would sneak it in, and you pay attention to it. And we just don't. We men just...
No, they don't. And even like my clients, they don't want to use my products. They want to use what they've been using for years. And I'm like, okay.
See, I have to...
In my salon, but in my salon, we always you sign a waiver, because if anything happens, you brought that here. It's not my product.
Hey, you got to sign here. If
you brought it
out, we told you so, honey.
Exactly.
Well, you know what? I'm going to say, Nancy, I totally agree. You should follow the instructions of your professional stylist and barber, and I totally agree. But I also have to say, I kind of understand that, too, because I like the guys that we've been talking about said, we've been using this every day for, or however often for years. So you're not want to try, even though you think it might. You're like, I think I'll take my chances. Isn't that awful? That's what's bad. And I guess that's the fact that we have other at-home products like that. We're waiting for somebody. Maybe Nancy's wonderful business will create a product that is just for men that will keep your hair on your head.
Yes.
Okay? It's bad enough if they color your hair, but then they leave you bald. I don't know what to say about all this. It's crazy to me. It literally is one of the most fascinating subjects we've done on the show, so very interesting topic. Listen, I want to just remind folks, we do, Nancy, we would be remiss if we don't take a moment to give folks an update. Now, I don't know if you remember this story on the Hair Radio morning show when we were talking about, on Shop Talk segment, there were the two African-American men who went to a Starbucks coffee shop in my hometown down in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And the police had been called on them. They were doing absolutely nothing but waiting until the member that they were meeting to have a meeting, the third person to show up for a meeting. And the police had been called on them, and there was a big viral video that shows them being arrested and led out of the shop because they refused to leave. They weren't doing anything wrong. And so would you believe there has been an update on this that says that the two black men arrested at Starbucks settled with Philadelphia for just $2. Wow. Now, again, it doesn't say they settled with the Starbucks company because that could be something we don't know about, we can't comment on. But they're not saying that was anything that's been settled. They're just saying, I guess there was a lawsuit on the table because they were, suing the city of Philadelphia because they were, arrested under these circumstances. Right. So I'm glad to report that they reached a deal with the city of Philadelphia. And these are the two, Rashawn Nelson and Dante Robinson. They led the coffee chain to announce it'll close 8,000 stores, which is what is happening, for an afternoon of racial bias education. The country needs to be put through racial bias education, believe me. But they say that the two black men whose arrests at Philadelphia Starbucks last month set off a wave of protests against the coffee giant for discrimination have reached a settlement with the city. The mayor's office said Wednesday they will each be paid $1. So now, in addition, Dante Robinson and Rashawn Nelson, both 23, will release the city and employees of all claims in exchange for the creation of a $200,000 fund that, through the help of a nonprofit organization, will assist young entrepreneurs in Philadelphia. So I'm thrilled that they, the city of Philly, my hometown, they're scratching up $200,000 to create this fund to help, young, burgeoning entrepreneurs in my hometown. So I'm excited. None of the money is going to these gentlemen in terms of in their pockets. They will also be consultants and work on the committee to choose who the grants will go to and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. And I love that they're doing something for the entrepreneurs because, honestly, and we haven't talked about this, and I'm hoping we can do an entrepreneur show soon. We have the Entrepreneur Channel on our network and the Hair Radio social networking site under our channels. But what is bothersome is that it is so obvious that the entrepreneurs are the ones to create the jobs.
Mm-hmm.
So obvious. They wonder why we don't. Nancy, when I think of these things, I'm very sharp on this kind of thing, and we write about this in How to Get Rich in the Hair Business book that I wrote. My big thing is, if you know that the entrepreneurs are the ones to create the jobs in your community, why don't you have more programs to help the entrepreneurs so that they can create the jobs so that it'll improve the conditions in the community, which will bring down crime and so many other amazing benefits. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't understand how in this society they do very little to nurture the creative spirit in entrepreneurs, let alone finance or provide funding. And anybody with any kind of common sense would know that the entrepreneurs are the ones who hire the people and create the jobs. Very simple. Mm-hmm. That's why I say this, I don't know where it's like instead of going to the right, where it says with all the sense and intelligence, we somehow take a turn to the left. It's common sense, folks. So I don't get it. I don't get it, Nancy. You know what I mean? You see what I'm talking about? In terms of entrepreneurial things?
I understand.
Yeah, because the hairstylists, you guys are all entrepreneurs.
Yes, we are. But we're in a society that likes to regulate stuff, so they don't want it to get out of hand, so they're not going to open up that pot.
That pot would help it.
Work.
Oh, well, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Although that may help somebody too, but that's a whole nother show. But I just fall out. I really do. These things, they are just shocking to me. Like, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure them out. These are some of the topics, Nancy, that we're going to be covering on Saturdays at 6, which is my news program that happens at 6 o'clock in the evening on Saturdays. And it will be available right on our network. So I'm so excited. We'll keep you posted. This was the program, Saturdays at 6, that we did when the story about Trayvon Martin, who was killed down in Florida at the hands of that person that we're definitely not going to even repeat his name on our show. We had his attorney on. He was actually on with me. And he's a very nice guy, very charismatic guy who helps to represent folks all over the country with these types of police brutality cases. And I'm just, I'm thrilled that we get to be able to shine a light on a lot of the topics that are happening, and we will be covering them and talking about them and talking. I think that's important.
Yes, it is.
Okay. So, Nancy, we've got just a few minutes. This is something that has been kind of covering that we've been covering and speaking to, on the hair side of things. Well, we're talking about some hair stuff today. But what about this? You touched on it on one of the shows. Someone asked a little bit. Can you elaborate again on? And we're see if we can continue this on tomorrow's broadcast. But can you elaborate a little bit about this whole thing with palm rolling and interlocking and cleaning up the hair with one style over the other, or one technique over the other, or are they both good? What can you tell us as a natural hairstylist, Nancy DeShowman?
Well, palm rolling is mainly for the locks. Usually when the locks grow out, you need to retwist the new growth, because the new growth comes up as like a little afro fuzziness. So you want to tighten it up to make it look nice, make it look nice and neat. So usually we palm roll with our hands. We roll the locks in a circular formation to tighten up the new growth on the scalp that has grown out of the hair, out of the locks, to give it a nice clean effect. Interlocking is mostly with sister locks. Now, sister locks is smaller than the regular locks. They're much smaller, and what you really do is you take the end of the hair, at the end of the locks, and you bring it to the roots, and you pull. It's like a little knot. It's more elaborate. It works more for sister locks than the regular locks, but a lot of people like it because it lasts longer. You don't have to keep palm rolling.
Well, I have to do that interlock.
Yes.
I have to tell you, because I have the interlock, and they can be smaller typically, but what if you want the larger interlocks, what they would do, they kind of combine a few of the thinner ones, the smaller ones, and it can give that appearance of the larger lock type look. But I'll tell you, I loved it personally because I have a stylist who did the interlocks and you can see my pictures on Instagram under Heinz Carey, by the way. What she did, and I had somebody who to me was very special, and I have to shout out Dina. She's on a member on the site, so you can look up Dina. And she did my interlocks. And what Dina did was she created it so that I didn't have big gaps and parts in my head.
Right.
And it was just beautiful. Just beautiful job. My hair grew so fast, I can't even begin to tell you. Mm-hmm. I was in shock how quickly my hair grew. It was literally within I won't even say 2 months, my hair had grown. Notably. Wow. Notably. There was so much hair, I had to cut it off.
Wow.
I had to cut my hair off because it had grown so much so quickly. And I wasn't ready for it at the time. So she did an amazing job, and the technique and the tool. And it took her 24 hours to do my hair. It took her a long time.
It takes longer. Yes.
I walked in with no locks, and I walked out with hair locks on my head, literally. Like, yes. I couldn't believe it. That's why I love the interlock technique. I love it. Now, but what you're talking about is something, it's the same thing, but what you're talking about is in terms of people, the upkeep process, if choosing one over the other, perhaps.
Yes.
But I loved it, Nancy.
Yes, because the upkeep, well, the palm rolling is faster. Like you said, interlocking, it takes a couple of hours to do.
Ooh, yes.
Yes.
That's a lunch. A lunch, honey. That is.
It lasts longer. Like with the palm rolling, you will have to put them every 4 weeks.
And guess what, Nancy? If I have to sell it, I will, because it lasts longer. And I say for me, it lasted a long time. And also, the older it gets, the better it looks.
Right.
I was in shock. I'm a big fan of it.
Right.
I'm a big fan of it, yes. But I don't know if everybody, I'm not a stylist, I don't know if everybody can have it. You need to go see folks like Nancy, you guys out there, because I don't know, there are all kinds of things that they, stylists do to make sure that your hair is strong enough and this and that, or healthy enough and all those. Not everybody can get every single style, and, just be aware of all this. But I'm happy that you broke it down about the palm rolling. And this is something that we're going to have to continue these conversations as we go forward. Nancy the Showmaz, I love the show today.
Yes, it was nice.
That's different, right? Didn't it have a different feel and flavor?
Yes.
Not flavor, but flavor. It had a different flavor today.
Yes. It was good.
Wow.
I liked it, yes.
Very different. I have to give it to us. I have to pat you on the back today, Nancy. Good job. No, you do a fantastic job every day. Every day. Knock it out. But it was a fantastic topic to explore today, so really good stuff. And we will be following this, and I promise I'll have an update for you tomorrow. And we're going to get this out. Now, folks, to all the members of the Hair Radio Social Networking site, please be aware that you can see all of the shows, listen and watch, and all of that stuff right here on the Hair Radio Social Network. We'll also share it across our Facebook and Twitter and all of that. So lots of ways to stay on top of the broadcast and know what's going on. We'll also have updates on everything that we've been talking about as we continue to go forward. So, Nancy, again, I want to take a moment to thank our folks at BeautifulHairProducts.com, shouting out Renee, Headbed, which we love, this product that needs to be on every sink, at every salon and barbershop, everywhere. I even encourage the individual clients to buy it and take it to the shop. And that's a great, great product. It'll cut down and diminish the occurrence of possibility of a stroke for those who are getting their hair washed on the, at the traditional shampoo bowl. We also want to shout out the folks at PDCVE Beauty. You guys know her. She's a part of our show, Drea, and her education piece that she puts on. So we're excited with all of that. And our traditional sponsors and larger program folks, shouting out just about everybody who helps us along the way. And we're just excited to be doing a great show. It's been fantastic. Now, today, we're also covering, you'll see separately when you go to Trish's channel, and it's Trish Talk Radio. She's coming up with her piece today, and it'll be on her channel. So we encourage you to check that out as well. She has her own channel. Once you go to our channels on the gold menu bar for the members of the Hair Radio Social Network, you'll be able to access that. So, Nance, fantastic show. I want to thank Nancy the Showmaz out of Queens, New York, for being with us today. And, Nance, I'll catch up with you a little later. We've got some information I want to share with you tomorrow, a little later as well, that I think will be beneficial as well. That's it. We've done a great job. We'll see you back here tomorrow for another edition of Shop Talk for our Friday edition. So thanks so much for being with us on Throwback Thursday, we should say, and we'll see you here tomorrow. Bye, everybody.